Hi, this is Gabriela. I am with Osborne Books and More. I am an educational consultant, and I am doing this video for a Facebook party. And like we like to say, all you need is to be home in your comfy clothes and with your favorite beverage. I'm drinking my coffee. I don't think I can exist without it. And enjoying a nice summer afternoon here making videos. I want to tell you a little bit about the company, Osborne Books and More. Osborne Books started with Peter Osborne when he decided that there weren't books that he really liked for his kids. So if you see our books, there's the quality. It's a very high quality. They're definitely affordable, and they are very educational. These are our baby board books, or some of them anyway. They're very sweet. And my son has used these, and they still look new, which is really not something I can say for too many things that he's touched. He's the youngest of three boys, and he's definitely very rambunctious. And so you can see here that it's still in amazing good shape. These are great, kids, really, babies like contrast. This is a really good book to have for them. We have other books for them. We have Big and Little and so on. And then we have the touchy-feely books, which are really popular, and you might have seen these at Barnes & Noble, and they're great books. It's the same price as Barnes & Noble. The difference is that when you buy it from a consultant like myself, which, by the way, my website is gabrielasworldofbooks.us, and that's Gabriela with one L, worldofbooks. .us. And when you buy it from us, you get a half-off lifetime warranty for non-consumable books that if for any reason they are damaged, that we will replace them for you at half price. And I think that's a really great guarantee, and that's not something that you can get from one of the big corporations that do sell our books. And it's great that they're doing that, because then you may have heard about them if you don't have a friend who sells Osborne books or hasn't invited you to a party, you will still have the opportunity to say, hey, I remember those books. So some of the books that are really popular for us are the phonics readers. And as you know, we have come away from phonics reading in this country. Across the pond in England, they're coming back to it. The research that they have found is that it's a more effective way for children to learn. Also, kids with learning disabilities tend to learn better with phonics because it's rule-based, so it's more consistent, and so it's helpful to them. So this is a combined volume of some of our favorite phonics readers, and it's really nice because instead of getting each volume for $6 or $7, you're getting the set for $20, and it comes with a CD, so if you have an auditory learner, it's definitely going to help them out. If you have a kinesthetic learner, or somebody who learns by doing or touching, it's also great because it has little flaps that fold out. So, and then obviously the illustrations are beautiful, so a visual learner will be really helped by it. The type of font that they use, I'm really impressed with as a mom of someone whose child inverts letters and confuses them. The fonts that they use are really, really, I don't know, there's something very special about them. I can't, I'm not a literacy expert per se, so I can't quite put my finger on it. But their products have been really helpful to us, and it's, definitely favorites in our house among the other books that we have. This is the very first reading set, and this is geared for children as young as 4, and really as late as 8, I think, can use it pretty effectively, depending on your child and their reading ability and their interest in reading, right? Because if they're not interested in doing it, they're not going to want to do it, and it's going to be a wasted effort. So it starts really simply with Pirate Pat, and that's the consonant, vowel, consonant, all short sounds. And in the back it tells you, which consonant you're going to work on. There is a website that you can use for additional support and help and practice. And it goes on to, I'm going to show you my oldest son's favorite, The Monster Diner. And the stories are really amusing. They're sweet. There's nice values to them too, about not being afraid or asking questions or sticking together. And there are little games at the end to help them cement the skills that they just learned. The answer key is there. And then I wanted to show you as it progresses, here is what the guidance notes look like. And it explains to you what the sound is, and then the sound family. So for example, in Wild School, it shows you the different families that, the sound families that you're going over. And I like that it's color-coded. I think it's helpful for the parent and the child to figure out sort of where they're at in the reading. And the Usborne very first reading set is followed by the first reading set. And also the website breaks things down into different reading levels. So for example, my first Usborne books that I owned were these, and they are the beginner set. And you can read them to your preschooler, which I did. But then, when they're in first and second grade, if they have an interest level, even third grade, they can read these on their own or should be able to read them on their own. There are, all of our science books are internet linked, which is really nice because it's on our Usborne website, and then you can go to the links and learn more. And they're guided, and it's not just the whole interwebs and whatever might come up. It's actually directly related to the book, and people do update them and such, so it's really nice. And then when they're a little bit older, and maybe third, fourth, fifth grade, even up to sixth grade, or older, if they're very interested in a particular topic, then, for example, this is the Sharks book, and you could see we still have the beautiful illustrations. And what's nice about them, too, is that if your child does not necessarily have a huge attention span, but they're very interested in the topic, the writing is in short bursts, so they can be really interested and engaged in the picture, and then they can not feel overwhelmed by a lot of text. And so they can just read, this little bit or that little bit. So even if they're skipping around, they're actually getting a lot of information. So they're really well thought out that way. And again, with the internet links, so if somebody is a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner actually going to go look for more information, that's really helpful to them in the way that they learn. If your kid is not necessarily a science buff, but you want them to be more interested in science, or you want some activities to do with your children at home, these are really great books. It's a set of 3. I can't wait to get my hands on the third one. But there are activities that you could do at home with your children, and you can learn about plants and wind and light and magnets. Electricity, it teaches you how to make an electromagnet, which I think is really, really neat. So these are things that you can do in your home with your children at your leisure, and build memories with them and give them a good basis for understanding the world. And so along those lines, this is our ginormous encyclopedia, our science encyclopedia. We also have one for history and geography. It's a beautifully bound book. It's glossy pages. They're really nice and thick. Also internet linked, and it's a great homework helper. So if your kid on Sunday night at 8 o'clock at night when the library is closed tells you, "Mom, I have a project due," well, you have this great resource at home, and because you can't do everything on the internet, you have some documents to quote and look into and go from there. So I think that's really helpful. Because my kids are, especially my oldest one, is a kinesthetic learner, I have a lot of flip-flappy books. So they're not just for babies, they're for older kids too. They're beautiful, beautifully illustrated. We spend a lot of time on astronomy in the past few months. And then I like that little book in the back where you can look up the constellations by seasons and even the hemisphere you're on, so the difference between the North Star and the Southern Cross, for example. And so my son and I were able to learn that together, and that was really cool. What else? Some science books. I think that, I want to show you this one, which is also neat. We have the big book of, I don't know if when you were a kid, if you were obsessed with bugs, I was, or I know my kids are dinosaurs and trains and things like that. So we have these books of sea creatures, and you can see the illustrations are beautiful. The pages are nice and thick. And, your kid can really just have a ball, really getting into a topic that they love and getting all the scientific terminology behind it, which sometimes as parents we can't possibly know. It's their interest, not ours, so we can learn alongside with them and give them something that they can really enjoy. So the art in the background, that's my kids, and that's from some of this is my dining room. Welcome to my dining room. Some of the work that we've done with the art treasury book. We combine like science and math with art, because unlike me when I was a kid, and I loved every art project I can get my hands on. My boys are not so interested. So we did, you know, Hirsch, and we studied how the universe was expanding. And then behind me you can see the concentric circles. And then we did, so here it is. And we did how we were measuring diameter and radius with it. On the other side, we were just doing a fun little drawing project with shapes, which is from the I Can Draw Animals book, which is really great. And we have I Can Draw People, and it's very detail oriented as far as showing you how to do things very simply. Here we go. Very simply, the step-by-step directions are fabulous, and anyone can really understand how to do this, and really helps to build their self-esteem, and they can draw some animals from everyday life. Other really great books for young learners are the white books. We have the dot-to-dot puzzles in the first letters, first numbers, first words. There's also times tables and learning how to tell time, all in a dry erase format. It's wonderful. You can just wipe it right off with your hand, or you can use a tissue or what have you. And I mean, my kids just, especially my littlest one, really enjoys that. All right, so literature, which is really why we do this, right, is literature. We want our kids to love literature. This is one of the books that we've read over and over in our home. It's the Greek myths, and my kids have gotten a lot out of it. And it even has like a little map in the back about where it is in the world and where the different characters sort of acted out their myths and what happened. There's fairy tales, there's the Grimm tales, there's the Norse myths, all that is there. We also have stories from around the world. This is a little bit about Buddhism, which is a really sweet book. We have books that are, this one's from Japan. It's very funny. Everyone poops, but we also have The Gas We Pass, and a book about scabs, all about scabs, and this is a favorite book that we have for Usborne. And we have lots of chapter books that are really fun. There's this one set that I'm currently in love with. It's Anna Hibiscus. So this is a board book that it starts with a storybook, rather. And it's a pretty well-known book and very well-loved. But now we have chapter books that go along with it. And so it's really nice to keep that story going for our kids. And you can see that there's still some illustrations, but it's definitely more for